Okay, so let's get started. The first text, the first sorry, my English in the mornings, it's not that good. So
Need another
if you
cup of
don't,
coffee, man.
oh well, yeah, but I'm far away. I'm in Argentina, so we don't drink that much coffee. So,
Oh, okay.
so
Wait, isn't that where the coffee is grown in Argentina?
well, not
Okay.
in Argentina. It's further north. You need a warmer weather. Yeah, it's
Okay.
in Colombia or
Okay.
the,
Oh yeah,
those parts.
Argentina's all the way down at the bottom of South America, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So you're like in a northern region. Well, in a cold region. Okay, got it.
Yes, we have it's so large that we have very cold at the bottom and pretty
Yeah, it's a
warm
long.
at the top.
Cool. Okay.
So the first task will be converting an implementation of the try data structure from Java to Python. And you will
Okay.
do this one with the AI support. The second task will be converting an implementation of the priority queue data structure from Java to Python. And you do that one without the AI support. We'll take a break between the two tasks because the session will take about 2 hours to complete.
Okay.
First, let me tell you a bit more about the code translation task. The task is to produce a complete and working Python translation within 30 minutes. By complete, I mean that all the functionality and documentation from the Java code should be translated. And by working, I mean that the Python code should be tested for correctness. As I mentioned earlier, there's more work to do to accomplish an absolutely perfect translation that can be done in 30 minutes. So really what I'm asking you to do is just as much as you can in the time that you have. But there may be trade-offs in how you spend your time, such as whether you choose to translate all the functionality first or to translate a portion of it while testing it to make sure it works. How you navigate this trade-off is completely up to you. There are a few other things I should mention about the task. You will be using an online version of the VS Code editor in this study, which has a few minor differences from the desktop app. In general, all of the menu commands and keystrokes are available and should just work. But please do let me know if you encounter any difficulties.
Okay.
I won't be able to answer any technical questions about the code or what it's supposed to do, but I can tell you that the Java implementation is completely correct. When you make the translation, please try to preserve the naming of class and method names, but we are less concerned with how you name variables. You can also use whatever resources you feel would be helpful, such as searching the web or Stack Overflow or running any of the code, since we have installed Java and Python in the editor. I will give you a 5 minutes warning as you work on the tasks. And please do think, you have to think out loud and tell us about what you're thinking and what you're doing. This really helps us understand how you approach the task and what you're thinking about us about as you do it. If you're quiet, I remind you to keep it out loud. Keep thinking out loud.
Yep.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
Yeah. So you want me to write Python code that looks like Java code because Java is camel case and Python is snake case, and I would never write Python code that looks like Java code. So you said to preserve method names, which means I assume there's going to be camel case method names that should not appear in Python, but you're asking me to do that because I would never translate it that way.
Okay. Yep. That's fair. That's a fair comment. So yes.
So which,
Uh,
yes, but so which do you want? So you want me to make ugly Python, is what you're saying.
yes. And your disclaimer is duly noted
Okay.
as well. I'm gonna make it exactly that note that you. I mean, this is being recorded. We will go back to
Yeah,
come
no,
back to
because
this.
that's
No,
one of the
absolutely. I agree. I agree. If
that's
you,
one of the
yeah.
first things I tell developers is you need to go look at the style guides and don't write Python code that looks like JavaScript or Java because
Yep.
I won't merge it. Okay.
It, but again, if you, I will take the note that you,
Okay.
I told you to do it
Okay.
because the instructions say so, right? It's like
Okay.
classes and methods try to respect the
Okay.
naming. Okay. Um, let me. Okay, some things that I need to tell you before we start. First of all, is please start sharing your screen so I don't I don't forget.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's number one. Great. Okay, I'm going to start with task number one, which, like I told you, you will translate the try data structure from Java to Python with the help of an AI code translation system. The system is it's able to automatically translate code from Java to Python, but it's not a perfect system. So the translated code may contain errors in it. We used this system ahead of time to create a Python translation for you, which you will see when you open the editor. How you use this translation to help you complete the task is entirely up to you. For this task,
So
I
you're
will.
going to give, so you're going to give me something that's been translated by this AI code,
Yes, exactly.
and you want me to start with that and make it whole. I mean that. Well, I mean, I'm trying to understand your purpose here. I mean, me rewriting the code doesn't help you with the AI piece. So, what do you want me to do with the piece that's already been translated by the AI? Is that what you want me to start with as a base and make it fully functional?
You can use it. You can use it as the base, or you cannot, or you can just you can do whatever you want. Is that how you use the
But I'm
translation is completely up to you. We will give you the translation,
okay.
and you can do whatever you want with it. That's the message.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna send you through the chat a link to the online VS Code editor.
Okay. Chat. Oh, so that's obviously this is on. I have to start up my VPN.
Yes. Sorry, should have told you that.
It's okay.
And I'm gonna make a note to actually
And
put
this
it
is
in
probably
the
not
instructions.
probably not the browser you want. Again, it's connected. Okay. And Safari is fine. It'll work in Safari.
Yes, it does work in Safari.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Okay. So if you're ready, we can start. You have three there you have three files: the Java source, the try AI file, which is the AI translation, and we will ask you to put your solution in the try.py, which is empty at this point.
Got it.
Okay. So
And so there are no test cases written for this?
no.
Okay. Okay. No test cases. Got it. Okay. Cool. So I have a command line to run it, or well,
You do have a command line to run it.
which is I don't see a terminal here.
Well, you can open a terminal using the hamburger menu on the top
Ah,
left.
hamburger.
Yeah.
Hamburger.
Terminal.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Let me take in what this is doing.
Okay. Let the time starts now. Then.
Okay, cool. I'm just reading the documentation to see what I can glean from it. So not knowing what a try is puts me at a disadvantage. So I have no idea what this code is doing. Store string. Try to route to a node marked as an end of word node. Okay. All right, so it's got an inner, class, which is the node. All right, node is a point storage string has a set of children nodes represented. Character string indexed by a character that leads to the node. Flag is the end of some string stored in a trie. The other strings may continue from that point if there are children. Okay, not clear to me. It's got a hash map. It's got a end of word method, which is a Boolean, and setting the end of word. Okay, so it's just a node with an attribute on it, and the hash map is a character and a point to a trie node to child nodes. Okay. Then you've got a root node in the main class. A constructor that creates an empty node for the root. And then things like inserting a word. Trie node current equals root. So it's taking each character in a word to char array. So I assume that is creating an array out of a string. And then it's so that's current equals current dot get children, compute if absent. Never seen that syntax before in Java. Okay. So since there's syntax I've never seen in Java, it's impossible for me to translate it to Python. So I'm hoping the AI is going to help me out there. We'll see. So find. So it's going through asking a word, length of the word. So for each character in the word, get children, get character. If the node is null, return false. Current is end of word. Test whether a string is stored in a trie. True if the string is stored in a trie. So it's looking to make sure every one of the characters is in there. If one of the characters isn't in there, it returns false. Cool. Delete is calling a delete function that takes 3 parameters. Okay, so you can delete a word, and then it's going to call delete with the root the word and a 0. So delete recursively deletes current node, the word, index, the current depth that we're descending. True if the string was deleted, false if it was not found. Okay. So index equal to word dot length, string word index, word dot length. So it's figuring out how long the word is if not current end of, we're not at the end of the word. Return false. Current end of word false is empty. So current is passed in. Okay, current's a parameter. Okay. The word. Okay. Oh, because this is being called recursively. Okay, so that makes sense. Getting a character, child. If node not equal to node, false boy. Should delete current node equals delete. Should delete current node. So it's calling itself, incrementing the index. So it's going to the next. What is index being used for? Index equal word dot length. So index is an index into the word, and not node into the word. So we're not right. Okay. Should delete current node. Get children. Remove ch. Ch is the character at the index. Return children. Return current get children is empty. So if it's not empty, it will return false. Okay, so let's delete. Enumerate is creating an array list. It's calling another enumerate function. Okay, string builder. Root entries. String builder tree node. Where is it getting that node from? Oh, it's from the root. Okay, so it's always doing it from the root. String entries. So enumerate current. All right, so if we're at the end of the word. All right, so the current node is the node that was passed in. If current dot is end of word, then we add entries dot entries. Entries is a string. It's a list that's passed in. We add the string builder entry as a string. I'm not sure what this is doing. Recursive function to enumerate strings. Oh, stored in the tree, so it's enumerating over the entire tree. So the entry is the current state of the string we're reading out of the try. The current node we're visiting in the tree is the node. And the list of strings found so far. So that's being passed by reference. Okay. All right, so keys, get children set key set to array. So it's getting all the keys and it's sorting them. And then for each key, it is entry, 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 append. So it's appending the character. And then it's recursively calling enumerate. And then it is entry delete character at entry.length -1. So it's pulling, so it's dynamically modifying entry, processing a character, and then deleting it from the string builder. Okay. And then merge another try to this one. So right, it's getting entries by enumerating the other try, and then it is inserting them into this one. Okay, I think I know what the code is doing, although I'm not sure what a try is still, but okay. So let's see what the AI did with that. Okay. So it created, all right. So it did not create an inner class for the try node. It just created a node class, which is fine, just the way I would have implemented it. And let's see. So let's do this. Open to the side. Okay. So so it created a constructor. Try node, try node, try node. So it created a dictionary of children and set is word to false, where the Java implementation did the same, right? Right, is word is false. New hash map. Okay, it created it. All right. So yeah, hash map in Java is just a dictionary in Python. Okay, got it. Get children returns self.children is end of word, returns if it's true, right? And word boolean is end of word, passing in self because it's a class, and then is word equals end of word. So it looks like the AI translated the node correctly. I wouldn't change anything in there. Okay, just going through the Java here. Okay, so then we've got the try class itself, which is yeah, correctly. All right, and so that has all right. So what's that got? Down here we got a constructor that just creates a new node. It's got init, creates a new node. It looks good to me. Insert a word. So right, current equals root. That looks good. Get these up here. For ln word, current equals current children dot set default. Yeah. So this This was the syntax that I did not know what it was. So if the AI got it wrong, let's see what the AI did though. It used a C for C and current children. Yeah, I have I have no idea what the Java syntax is. So if the AI got this wrong, I would get it wrong as well. So I'm not going to modify it. And then the current set end of word true, current dot end of word true, and return current, but the Java code doesn't return anything. It's a void. So I would not return current, but let me not touch it until I see what the rest of the code does because it may have modified the code to require that. The AI also didn't do a good job of copying over all the doc comments. So I would probably clean those up. Okay, find. Just passing in a word. Current equals root. All right, so for word length. So for ch in words, so it's taking every character out of the word, which is kind of what that convoluted Java stuff is doing. Character equals 1. So node equals current child ch. That looks correct. Node equals current children. C get children get ch. Man, I hate Java. Node equals null, return false. Current node equals node. And it's returning right current end of word. And just to refresh, end of is end of word. Is end of word. Got it. Okay. And current is a node. So where is end of word coming from? All right, so I would modify this one as well to correspond to the method names, right? Because this is actually Trinode has children and is word. So Trinode does not have an end of word. Okay, so that needs to be fixed. All right. Let me start copying these over so that I have something working. So I'm going to say the node looks good. We'll take that as good code. I think this is the first thing I want to clean up. Okay. Okay. So, okay, so constructor was good, I said, right? Yep, it's good. Node. Insert. So, current node, these line up. Iterating over each character, doing something in Java I've never seen, hoping the AI did the right thing. And then I would want to call set end of word here true. And I'm just going to trust that we don't have to return this because actually you don't even need to return in Python. So we're good at that point. All right, so the insert looks like end of word, current end of word, true. That works for me. Okay. So let's go look at what the AI did for the next one. The next one is find. And actually, all right. There. Okay, so the next one is find. Test whether string is stored. Try. So current equals root for ch in word. So it's taking each character out of the word. The Java is taking each character out of the word more verbosely because Java is verbose. Then node equals current get child get. So it's current equals current dot children ch. So it's looking right. So it's looking for that to see if that key is in the dictionary, right? Children's a dictionary. Yes, yes. Children's a dictionary. Okay, good. If node equals null, no, not null. It would be none. And I would say if not node. If not node, return false. And current was node, and then return is end of word. And do I have an is end of word? Yeah, I do have an is end of word. So I'm going to return that one. Is end of word. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good translation. Let me grab, do we have, yeah. I'll clean up the comments later, but I have plugins in my VS Code that do the syntax for the comments because I always forget that stuff. I try not to remember anything I can look up. But anyway, so this is cool. The other thing, all right, we could use the new Python syntax and put the put types in here. But I'll just translate it straight for now. So find looks good. It's returning is end of method. Okay. So then delete. What do we get for delete? God, I hate that. Yeah, I forget the syntax. You know, when in doubt, look at your code. Let's fix this up now. Yeah, I'm just gonna go steal some of my own code because I can. Okay, so let's make it. Okay, so word. It's a string. And then actually there was no comments in here. That'll give me something to start with. Anyway, so delete, let's see what delete does, if it does the right thing. So delete, delete, delete. Again, this has no, yeah, this is not, oh yeah. I'm not sure why it keeps returning this stuff. So, and then you don't need a return because this is a void. Okay, so just delete root word 0, and then the real delete is the next one. So let's see what it did here. Now I see it took the @parms right from the Java code, which, you know, unless you were translating, and there's several ways of doing Python comments if you're creating Python documentation. Actually, the args thing is not for creating Python documentation. I thought I had one where I was doing no, Hate this. No, that's not the one I want. Yeah, let me go to, I thought I had in my, yeah, probably in my TDD code, which will come in handy later anyway. I had used the other syntax. Yeah, this is the syntax I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what they were kind of getting at. All right, I'll use that instead. So parm word. I think that's what they were trying to get at. Word to delete. We'll just put this in here. Okay. Yeah, it works for me. Okay. And then I'll clean the rest of those up. So delete. So delete current. Okay. So index is yeah, the length of the word, right? If not current is end of word. If not current end of word. Well, that's the way I would have done it in Python, but unfortunately, I was asked to make Python look like Java. So there I go, boys. I have to close my eyes while I do this. It hurts so much. Right, if not current is end of word. Return false, and then this is set end of word false. All right, so doing the same thing. So if index, oops, current end of word, return false, current word false, and then return, yeah, current dot, return current dot children is empty. Hmm. That would pass back an empty array, and this is so that would be the proper translation as it's an empty dictionary. But if you just pass back current.children and it was empty, it would return false, although it wouldn't return true. Okay, I'll leave it that way. So that would test for as empty. Change word to all right, okay, so now we're getting character.index, which is word. Hang on, word is a string. Okay, so it's taking word index. Node equals current get child and get string. So it's doing a right. So it's asking for this character, and it's saying if you can't find it, return a none. If node is none is fine. You could just say if not node, but okay, if node is none, return false. And if you know what, if we're going to leave that, I want to make the code consistent. I hate when people mix styles. Pick a style and stick with it. We'll just stick with that style for now. And then Boolean should delete current node equals self dot delete. Yeah, so this is delete index plus 1 and not node. Yeah, is end of word. Okay.
John, 5 minutes warning.
Okay, cool. Okay, then it should delete current node. Then it does. It's doing a pop on a dictionary. Okay. Return Yeah, again, I think this is a dictionary. Empty dictionary. And then return false, which I'd like on a separate line. And actually, yeah, I would just to make these more readable. Okay. The next one is what is enumerate. Enumerate, cool. Okay, and let's see. So enumerate, create an empty array, self.enumerate, join tree for entry in. And this is enumerate. New string builder, root, which is part of the class, right? So root is is part of the class. So enumerate. Did I pull the right one? Yeah, I did. Delete enumerate. Yeah, because that's the other one. Okay. So entries. So entries is empty. For entry in entries, there's nothing in entries. Entries. Right. Entries is a new array list. So it's doing the same thing there. I'm not sure this is doing anywhere near what should be done. So I'm going to skip it and go to the real one and then just call the real one. So yeah, let's take this. Need to come back and do that. Okay. So let's do this one. So this one is all right, current node nerd. If oh God. Okay. So current node is node. If current node is end of word, current end of word, entries append entry dot write strip. Not sure why it's all right. Well, I guess it makes sense. Keys is an array. Get children, get keys to array. So it's just children.keys, getting the keys. It's then doing a keys.sort. And then for key and keys, entry append the character of one key. And then self enumerate, right? Entry, getting that key, and then entries. And then it's popping that thing off of the entry. So that makes sense. So this one does not make sense to me. I'm not sure why it wasn't a cleaner translation. String builder. So this is doing the string builder. No, I'm not sure why that's happening. This one has a root as well, right? Self.root. Yeah, I'm not getting the subtlety of the string builder and the Java string builder in there.
John,
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. First, I will ask you to close this tab just because I will send you another link and we need this to be closed just so we don't mess with the editor. Or close the, yeah. Not the actual tabs from the editor, but the tab in the browser.
Oh, okay. I got you. Right. The browser tab.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually closes it, but
If what
I
actually
think if
closes.
oh, yeah. That's fine.
I didn't have a tab open. I had to close the browser.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
So next thing, I'm gonna send you a link to a survey in the chat. I'm pasting it right now. Your participant ID is P9. The condition would be AI because you had the translation that AI
Yep.
from the AI, and the data structure would be the try.
Right.
You have to agree to the privacy policy and then move to one. Yep.
You got to be kidding with 1 to 20. Oh my God.
Yes, and I will ask you. I didn't tell you this, but I will ask you to think out loud while you fill the form as well, so we know what you think.
So I think that anyone that creates a form with this much granularity is out of their mind. And what I do
Okay.
personally is I say, you know what? There's high, medium, and low, and we're done.
Okay. Just to
So
give you some.
I'm not gonna agonize over degrees of. It's just I think it's crazy. But anyway,
Okay. This is
how
based
mentally demanding?
on a
Yeah.
on a survey that actually NASA made. I'm just saying, just FYI. That's it. Just to give you some information. But
Yeah. Okay. Okay. How mentally demanding was the task? Well, I guess if you knew what a try was, it would be extremely low. um, I don't think it was mentally demanding. It was just translating code. I guess you have to figure out what the old code does. I just have to figure out where in this graph is meaningful. Yeah, I think it was low. I mean, so maybe not very low because I didn't know what a try was, but kind of medium low. How hurried or rushed was the pace of the task? Um, yeah, I guess it was kind of rushed because I didn't have a chance to actually test anything, right? So code that hasn't been tested doesn't work. How rushed was the task? Well, I almost got through it, but not quite. I'm gonna kind of put it up here somewhere. How successful you accomplishing what you asked to do? I was not very successful. I didn't finish. How hard did you have to work to accomplish your level of performance? I didn't consider it hard work. How insecure, discouraged, irritated, stressed, or annoyed were you? Dude, it's only code. uh, yeah, had I had more time, I might have looked up the Java syntax. However, I would have never taken a job porting Java code in the first place. You couldn't pay me enough to write Java code anymore. Please describe your overall approach at how you worked on this task and how you allocated your time across different activities. So first was understand existing code does, and then you got to spell understand correctly. And then two, I guess I evaluated the the AI code translated, and then three, liked the AI translation and modified it to hopefully work correctly. I have no idea. I didn't have time to write tests. To what extent do you feel you understand how the Java maintains data structure works? Yeah, let's see. What extent do you understand how the Java? I would I would say a little because I still don't know what a try is or why I would use it. No idea. Certainly looking at the code didn't help. How would you characterize quality provided with AI translation? I thought it was good. I mean, very good would be perfect, but I thought it, yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, very close translation. But not perfect. How did the quality match your expectations of what could be processed by an AI system? So I'm not sure where the AI came in. It looked like something to me that could have been done by, parsing the Java into a syntax tree and then translating that into Python code. I would expect AI to evaluate algorithms and understand what they're doing and provide comparable algorithms that did the same thing, unless I missed it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Well, I'm going to say worse than expected because it wasn't perfect, right? I mean, I would expect it to be. I don't think there was anything tricky in that code that shouldn't have been able to be translated. Like having a method on a node and not you wrote the method on the node and you didn't call it. Like, so it was worse than I expected. To what extent did you feel that provided translation were useful? Well, I thought it was very useful because it saved me a lot of time. It's always good to have something to start with and then and tweak as you need. Do you feel it had errors? I would say somewhat, but it was pretty close. Actually, maybe it was a little had errors. To what extent do you feel provided translation had errors? A little. I would say a little. It only had a few errors. It wasn't really bad. Helped you complete the task. Great deal. It's always good to have code. Helped you understand your Java code? Not at all. Well, maybe if I can assume it was correct in what it was doing, because there were places where I didn't know what the Java code was doing. So maybe a little if it was correct. Taught you something new about Python. No, I don't think so. I think I kind of got all the things it was doing in there. Did you feel that the provided translation made your work in this task difficult versus easy? Oh, I think it made it easy. Did you feel the provided translation made your work task slow versus fast? I thought it was fast. I could have never done that much port in a half hour without having the code to go by. Did you feel that the provided translation made your work in this task of the worst versus the best quality? Did you feel that the provided translations made your work in this task of the worst? Made your work in this task of the worst versus of the best quality? Not sure what that is asking me. Made your work in this task of the worst versus of the best quality. Work. So did it make my work better or worse? I think that's what it's asking me.
Yes, I think so too. And I had this question asked to someone else, so I will bring this up to the team to
It's horrible
probably
English.
phrase it a bit better. So yeah, I think you should go with what you just said. If it made your work
Yeah.
better or worse, I guess.
Um, Yeah, so I'm going to say neutral because it looked like the code I would have written, so it didn't make it any better. I'm not sure what this question made your work of the worst or of the best quality. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're getting at. I thought it was good quality. I really don't get what this is asking me. Made your work in this task of the worst versus of the best quality. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. What did you find most useful about divided translation? So good to have a starting point. It's almost like pair programming in that you get to see one person's uh, presentation. I thought that was pretty good. What did you find the least useful about the provided translation? Yeah. Let's see the translation not using methods that it provided to do what was clearly a one-to-one Java to Python translation. I mean, so that was kind of odd that it did not pick up those methods because literally it was the same Java code, Python code as Java code. It's a call a method on it. So that was kind of weird. Were enough translations provided for you? Yeah, I thought everything got translated. Not sure what that means. What additional information could we have provided alongside the translation to make it more useful to you? What additional information would you expect as part of an explanation of how the translation was made? It would have been nice to have had the comments translated correctly. It would have taken me almost as much time to clean up comments. So yeah, that would have been really helpful since that's a no-brainer. That's just a mix and match. For the following work conditions, to what extent would AI okay. For the following conditions, to what extent would AI supported code translations be helpful? Normal working conditions. So to the following work conditions, to what extent would AI supported code translation be helpful? Normal work condition when under time pressure, when working alone, working on code that hang on. Working on code that only I use when working on code my team members and others would use. Small team, large team, experimental prototype, working on production code. Why would translations not be freaking helpful all the time? I don't understand how any of that, anytime you're writing code, I mean, geez, it's saving you time. It was a huge time saver. For which situations would AI supported code translations be appropriate? When code is used for mission critical healthcare avionics, when code correctness is important, when code runtime performance is important, when there's large code base to translate. Code. Oh, so this is saying it. Okay. For which situations would AI supported code translations be appropriate? Okay. When code is used for mission critical, I don't understand why it wouldn't be appropriate. Any assistance is better than no assistance. Code is used for mission critical. Healthcare, banking, avionics. Code rental horse important. I'm not sure when code is written in a language I'm unfamiliar with. The code needs to be translated to a language of which I'm unfamiliar with. I don't see why it would never be important. I just don't. Not getting it. How useful would each of these kinds of AI models be for real code translation works? How useful would each of these kinds of AI models be for real code translation work? A model that requires you to fix one problem per 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, 100, 10. A model that requires you to fix one problem per 10 for 100,000 lines of how useful each of these kinds of AI models be for real code translation work? I'm not sure what it means by AI models here. A model that requires you to fix one problem per 100. I don't understand what the question's asking me. It's asking something about AI models, and I just don't get it.
I don't want to bias in your answer, but I want to clarify what AI model is. The thing that provides you with the translation, it's let's call it an AI model. So you ask the AI model for translation, and you get one problem per 100,000 lines of code, or you get a translation with one problem per 10,000 lines of code. It's the amount of problems that you
Oh,
get.
you have to fix after the translation? Is it the number of problems you need to fix after the translation?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I mean, in the example that you did, you had one translation, you got it back, and you had several things to fix, right?
yep.
What are in the order of magnitude of the amount of things that you have to fix are the options here, right?
Okay. So one-to-one is not useful at all. But I'm good from 10 lines of code. You save me from writing 10 lines of code, I'm happy. So, and that's just me personally, right? And
And absolutely,
yeah,
this
if
is
I had
you.
one,
This is
yeah,
you
if every method,
personally. Yep.
yeah, and every method was maybe 3 or 4 lines of code, and I probably fixed a problem per 10 lines of code, and I was perfectly happy with that. That was fine. It got you started. I mean, I'm all about assistance, man. Any code I don't have to write is code I don't have to debug. Okay, is there any other feedback you would like to share with us about your experience on this task? No, not real. I mean, um, no, I thought the translations were mostly good. I guess I'll put that down. um, I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. Let's take 5 minutes and reconvene at. I'm going to say 11:10, but there is 10:10, right?
Yeah, it's 10:10 here. It's 10:10 here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back at 10:10. I'm gonna pause the recording and mute myself and stop the video. So
Okay.
do that yourself so we don't lose continuity of the recording.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool.
Okay. Thanks a
All right.
lot. Yep.
Okay.
See you in 5.
Yep.
Ask. Okay, so like I said, in this second task, you will be translating the priority queue data structure from Java to Python as well, and you will have to do this one without the AI support.
No AI.
So no AI now.
It's not fair.
Not good times are over. Okay,
You're supposed to show me how hard it is to do manually, and then show me how easy the AI makes it. Go ahead.
Well, that's why it's in random order, because we need to analyze those things.
Ah.
So, okay. I'm gonna paste the link in the chat again.
Yeah. Chat. Get the chat window up. Get the link. Get out of my way. Okay.
Okay. Ready,
Hey,
set.
the code's missing.
Oh, yeah. You have to fill in the blank, the huge blank.
Huge blank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I know the drill.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, priority queue. Priority queue using array list based implementation of a binary heap. This class can be parameterized for any element class that supports a comparable interface on itself, so comparable in Java. Priority queue allows one or more stored comparable elements and remove them in the order defined by the comparator. This implementation will remove the highest priority items first. Insert and removal are O-log n operations in terms of the number of items in the queue. Okay, so I've got priority queue extends comparable. It has an array inside, which it calls heap. Priority queue heap new array list. Okay, so it's allocating it in the constructor, inserts an item into priority queue. So insert. So it gets the size of the heap and heap.add item while index greater than 0 and parameters like to T. I guess T is I have no idea what that is in Java. I guess that's a type. Parent equals heap get parent index. Get parent compared to. So it's adding it to the heap and then sorting the heap basically by priority. Get parent item. Heap dot set. Okay. Item parent. So it's swapping the items in the heap, setting the index to the parent index. Oh, so it's the parent, it's starting in the middle. All right, parent index equals index minus 1 divided by 2. It's getting the item in the middle, and then it's doing a comparison. Okay. Then remove. Checking if it's empty. Index equals heap size minus 1. Swap the last item in for the first. Heap size minus 1. So that gets the last item off the heap. And then does it get 0, which I assume gets the first item off the heap? And then it sets the first item to set 0 heap get index. Heap.remove index. Heapify. What the heck is heapify? Peak is empty. Enumerate. Add all. Heapify. Oh my god. Restore a section of the heap to maintain heap properties. Compare to parent. Right index to size. So, okay, let me go back to where I was. That was an insert, yeah? No. Oh, heapify, I was in remove. Okay, so remove, yeah. So it's removing the highest priority from the priority queue. Zero heap get. So index is one less than the size of the heap. The heap is an array list. Okay, so it's just, I assume an array list is just an array in Java. And I assume get is a dereference. So it's getting, all right, so then element is the first element in the list. So index is the last element, element's the first element. Then it's setting the first to the last, removing the last. Oh, because it's a priority heap, it's always kept in priority order. Okay. So the thing at the end of the list has the highest priority. Isn't that just a pop in Python? It's weird. But it's setting, it's getting element setting get heap dot index equals heap dot size minus one. So it's getting the last element, the first element. Then it's setting the first element to the last element. Why is it doing that? And removing the last element. And then it's doing this heapify thing. Now propagate that the last item to the proper place in the heap. Ah, so heapify is going to keep shifting until it finds. I still don't get why it's. I don't understand why it's doing that. If it's just got, if it's in a priority order, you remove the last thing. Unless get zero is the length of the array in Java. Yeah, I don't know enough Java to translate this code. I don't know what this code is doing. It's it's doing some crazy list manipulation stuff, but let's see. So size is heap.size. So I assume an array has a size method. Peak is getting the 0th element, which means, wait, that doesn't make sense. Returns the next element to be returned by remove without removing it. So 0 is the thing you're going to remove, but in remove, index equal heap dot size minus one. So index is the length, one less than the length of the heap because it's 0 based. Element is the 0 with, okay, so the thing at 0 is the thing with the highest priority because that's what's being returned. Okay, so the rest of this is just to adjust the heap. So heap set 0 to the next to the last. Heap remove index. So it's Oh, so it can only remove from the back of the heap, but it wants to pop off the front of the heap. So it takes the last thing, puts it in it pops off the first thing, puts the last thing in the front, removes the last item from the array, and then sorts this one back where it belongs. What is Heapify doing? Jesus. Heapify, index size. Restore a section of the heap to maintain heap properties. Indexes the point in the heap to work on. If the indicated point does not have a proper relation to its descendants, their values are swapped and the descendant is then processed recursively. Oh, it calls itself at the end recursively. So left index, so it's passing in the index, which in this case, Heapify is passing in 0 and the size of the heap. Okay, so it's saying whole heap. So 0 times 2 plus 1 is 1. And right index is not size. Right index is 0 times 2 plus 2. So it's taking two things together, and then it's saying the parent equals get index, which is going to get 0. And so far, max index is also 0. And then if the left index is less than the size, which it is, and the heap get left index compared to parent, parent is heap.get index is greater than 0. So I assume compare is returning 0 minus 1 or plus 1. Then it's saying max index is the left index. Right index less than the size of the heap. Right index compared to heap. Get left index greater than 0. Max index equals the right index. If max index is not the index, then swap them and recurse on a subtree rooted in min index. Heap.set index. Get max index parent. Set the index to the max index. Max index to the parent. And then call yourself again to shift it down. Okay. What else do we have here? Remove all. Size. Size, peak, is empty, is empty. And then enumerate. Provide all the results of the priority queue in order. Why wouldn't that just be enumerating over the list since it's kept in priority order? Array list saved heap. And then results. Array list type. Heap is, okay, so it's making a copy of the heap. If heap is empty, results add remove. Why the heck is it doing that? It's creating a copy of the heap, then deleting everything in the heap, then pointing the heap back to the copy and returning the copy. Maybe array list. Yeah, maybe I'm not getting what that's doing, but that looks convoluted. And then add all collection. Element and collection, insert element. That's simple enough. So yeah, I'd have to look up what the so these are only comparable things in Python. Would have to be the equivalent comparable class in Python. Um, hmm. Yeah, this would take me too long to train. This would probably take me an hour or more to just look up Python comparable. I mean, I don't normally use that stuff in my everyday work, so I'd have to look all this stuff up. Um, and I'd rather not even do it. Yeah, this would take a while, just because I don't have this stuff at the tip of my fingers. Um,
You you still have time. I mean, you could start if you wanted.
um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would take these things that have passing types in. I know Java loves to do all that stuff, but I don't know how you would do those in Python. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it would take a while. It would take a long time. I mean, it's just not stuff I have at the, uh, in my head. Um,
So would you rather stop
I'd rather
or
stop. Yep, I'd rather stop.
okay, okay. That's fine. No worries.
Yeah, because there's not enough time to write test cases. So, I wouldn't even know if the code works. Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't know if you didn't write the tests, but it happened with the AI as well. But that's okay. No worries. I'm I'm gonna still share the survey with you just to so you can leave your impressions. Um, let me. Where is the chat? Oh, here's the chat. Don't worry, it's not as long as the other one because the other one has a lot of AI related questions, which is not the case here.
I'm P9.
For P9, yes, this is the no AI with priority queue. You have to agree with the privacy policy. Yeah, awesome.
I would have had to look. I guess I even forget what it was now. What was the comparable? Yeah. You know, just yeah. Since I didn't do the activities, it's hard to say what I would have done. But I would have had to look up comparable to get the tribal approach work. Oh, so yeah. I read Java code to understand what it's doing. It's fair to say, well, yeah. In Python. So what do you say if you understand how the Java data structure works? Yeah, a little. I wasn't. Didn't really. Not sure. Why being a purity queue. I didn't know what was going on with the copies there. I might have done that. Other feedback. Yep. Okay.
Okay, one last survey. This is very, very, very small, so I'm going to share that in the chat.
P09, how would you compare your experience working on the transfer without AI versus with AI so far? Your experience working on the transfer without AI. Without. Hmm. Beyond code translator, what other kinds of AI support would you desire for working with code? It's an interesting question. So, would be great AI to describe what the does in natural language. So yeah, being able to describe what a function does the way a human would be a cool thing for AI to do. But I realize it's really hard. But that would be very helpful because then you could say, what is this function doing? you know, so that would be helpful. To which gender identity do you most identify? Well, there are only two genders, but I'm not sure why all the rest of this stuff is on here. Not sure why that even matters. Do you consider yourself primary a data scientist, designer, manager, researcher, software architect, software engineer? Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess I'm a software architect, but have you used AI or machine learning algorithms as part of your work? Yeah, I used machine learning, but over a year ago. Machine learning. We were used ML in classifying workloads for cloud migration. Have you performed code translation tasks in your work? No, I normally don't. Would you like to in the future slide AI support software engineering yourself with your email address? Yeah. Always be willing to look at what's going on. Okay.
That's it, John. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for participating, for taking the time. We know that it's a long time it's a long session, but the things that we want that we are investigating needs this type of studies. And just to mention a few things about what we're doing now, and why are we doing this study. We know that there are a lot of models nowadays that actually do code translation or generate documentation or even convert natural language to code. I mean, there are a lot of tools that do that among generative and AI models, but there hasn't been much work to evaluate whether the what you get from these models are actually useful for people, because sometimes, well, you know how this is. Tools are people build tools and stuff, and then users don't use it because they're not really useful. So what we are trying to do is to understand whether AI produced code translations are actually helpful. That's why we run this study. So that does it make you code faster, code better, and also one other thing that we're trying to understand is how good has the translation needs to be in order to be helpful for a software engineer, for someone who uses this code translation. Because as you might imagine, the AI is good, but it's never that good as human, right? So
Yeah.
that's what we are trying to understand. And we're also building some tools, extensions, an extension in VS Code particularly, that will actually allow you to interact with this AI that translates code, and would allow you to see different alternatives and all those good things that will make the analysis of the translation easier for you to actually use the translation in your own code. So again, thank you very, very, very much for participating in this study. We will send you 250 blue points as a token of our appreciation.
Thanks.
Yeah, again, we cannot stress the thank you enough, because we know that it's a lot of time to invest for someone in a research activity. So that's it. So thank you again, John. It
Okay.
has been very, very nice to meet you, and we'll be in
Same
touch.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Fernando. Appreciate it. Bye bye.
Bye bye.